You're watching Forsaken Joe. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Enjoy the story. Let's begin.
I was already sweating before I sat down. Cramped conference room, busted AC, stale coffee on the table, same as always. I'd been at Miller Automotive for 5 years. 5 long years of grinding my ass off to keep this place running. And I thought maybe, just maybe, today was the day I'd finally get what I earned. Dale, my father-in-law, owner of the whole damn dealership, stood at the front, all proud and smug like he was about to announce the next president. He cleared his throat. Big news today. We're promoting someone new to general sales manager. A real go-getter. Someone with vision. My gut twisted. I'd been running sales numbers, closing deals, fixing every fire this floor lit since day one. I already knew. Somehow I already knew. And that someone, Dale said, grinning like a used car Santa Claus, is Zach. Zach, my wife's little brother. My brother-in-law. The guy who still used hair gel like it was 2006. He'd been here 3 months. I trained him. People clapped. I clapped too. Couldn't feel my hands. My face stretched into this frozen smile that felt like my skin was cracking underneath. Zach stood, all puffed up, buttoned his stupid slim-fit blazer like he was stepping onto a TED Talk stage. He turned to me. Hey Kev, man, couldn't have done it without you. I stood up, shook his hand. Congrats, I said, like my throat wasn't burning. You earned it. He didn't. And he knew it. We both knew it. I sat back down, felt the chair dig into my spine, and just stared past the whiteboard behind Dale. My ears were ringing. The rest of the meeting was a blur, just words buzzing around, people sucking up, laughing like this wasn't a complete joke. As soon as it ended, I walked fast, too fast, back to my desk. My monitor was still on, a half-finished email open about a parts reorder I didn't give a damn about anymore. I stared at it, then at my nameplate. Kevin Miller, Senior Sales Consultant. Not General Sales Manager. Not family, not really. Just the guy who trained the air. Quick note, before we go further, share which city or country you're watching from. I closed the email. I didn't log out. I didn't even blink. I just sat there, hands clenched under the desk, heart pounding hard enough to drown out everything else. That was the moment I knew. I was done pretending. I didn't move from that desk for at least 10 minutes. Just sat there, jaw tight, staring at that dead screen while everyone else crowded around Zach like he just cured cancer. And all I kept thinking was, how the hell did I miss this coming? But I didn't miss it. I ignored it. It started 6 months ago. I was neck deep in a warranty billing mess with one of our biggest fleet clients, Tri-State Logistics. They'd flagged us for overcharges on parts we never even installed, and I was juggling emails with their CFO while our tech manager tried to pin the blame on the parts desk. In the middle of all that, Dale strolled into my office like he didn't just drop a grenade. Zach's going to be helping out for the summer, he said, sipping his coffee like we were talking weather. Figured he could shadow you, get a feel for the business. I remember nodding without looking up. Sure, just let me get this claim sorted. I didn't ask questions, didn't think twice. I figured the kid would be tagging along, grabbing lunch orders, maybe filing some paperwork. Then he showed up that Monday, dressed like he was interviewing at Goldman Sachs. Shiny shoes, tailored pants, a smug-ass grin. Not a clipboard or wrench in sight. He got his own office, right next to Dale's. Not a cubicle, an actual office. With his name on the door, Zachary Bennett, Business Development. I laughed when I saw it. Thought it was some kind of Dale-style joke. It wasn't. Zach never once touched a service ticket or talked to the frontline crew. Instead, he shadowed department heads, sat in sales strategy meetings, walked around the lot like he owned it. I saw him chatting up our finance director like they were equals, asking pointed questions, nodding like he understood the answers. A week in, he was already talking about streamlining our CRM process. I remember thinking, how the hell would he even know we had a CRM problem? Then one morning, I walked into the break room and heard Zach pitching Dale on some pricing model based on gross per unit instead of volume sales. I'd mentioned that exact thing in a staff meeting 2 weeks earlier, and Zach hadn't been in the room. He knew things he shouldn't. Knew them early. Before I did, sometimes. That's when the little alarms started going off in the back of my brain. But I shut them down. Told myself I was being paranoid. Told myself Dale was just letting him play businessman before he got bored and moved on. But the real gut punch came one afternoon when I passed by Dale's office. His door was open, and I heard him laughing with one of the district reps from GM Financial. The guy asked, "Your son-in-law still your top guy?" Dale replied, "Kevin's solid, great with customers, real hands-on. But Zach's got that big picture instinct. Real business potential. Kevin's more service smart, not strategy smart." He said it like he was explaining the weather. Like I was a good mechanic who knew how to change a tire, but not how to drive the damn car. I stood outside that doorway for a full minute. Didn't say anything. Didn't walk in. Just turned around, walked back to my desk, and buried myself in fleet reports. That was the moment I should have seen it. That was when I should have known. But I didn't want to believe it. I told myself Dale just talked big around outsiders. That strategy smart was just a buzzword he picked up off LinkedIn. That family was family. It was easier to let myself believe that than to face the truth. Because if I had really looked at it for what it was, that Zach wasn't helping out for the summer, he was being groomed to replace me. I'd have had to ask the real question. What the hell have I been doing here for 5 years? So I kept playing dumb. Let Zach play boss. Let Dale talk in circles. And I kept putting out fires while the matchbook was sitting in his kid's pocket. It got harder to ignore after that. Every time I saw Zach in another closed-door meeting, every time Dale brushed past me like I was just part of the scenery, I felt it. Then one Thursday night, everything snapped into focus. The dealership was dead quiet. Techs long gone, lights dimmed, just the low hum of vending machines and the glow from Dale's office down the hall. I'd stayed late trying to clean up another billing discrepancy with the fleet team, of course, and I was heading out when I heard voices. His door was cracked just enough. I should have kept walking, but I didn't. Dale's voice was low and serious, the tone he used when something was being locked in. "You can't run a place like this on loyalty. You run it on trust. I need someone trustworthy at the top," he said. Then came Zach. "You don't think Kevin is?" "He's dependable. I'll give him that," Dale said. "But he's not a direction guy. He's execution. Give him a list, and he'll knock it out. But build strategy? Carry vision? No." There was a pause. I could hear Dale sip something, probably his damn scotch. "He's also not blood," Dale added. "Marriage is just paperwork. You're the one this place was meant for." I didn't move. Couldn't. My stomach was in my throat, and it burned. Dale kept going. "Kevin was never going to lead this company. He doesn't have the edge. He's safe. That's fine for middle management. But legacy? You don't hand legacy to a placeholder." Zach didn't say anything back. Not one damn word to defend me. I walked out before I did something stupid. Drove home like a robot, straight down Route 59, not even remembering the turns. When I stepped inside, the house was dark except for the kitchen light. Belle had gone to bed. Olivia's backpack was on the counter, half open, history books spilling out. I grabbed a beer from the fridge, twisted it open, and leaned against the counter like I'd just been hit by a truck. I looked up at the photos on the wall. Family vacations. Birthday parties. Me with Dale on the deck grilling ribs. Belle holding Olivia in a little sun hat. Smiles. Forced now, fake in hindsight. I wasn't part of anything. I was just the guy filling space until Zach got bored of his other careers. I finished the beer in 3 swigs, grabbed another, and opened my laptop. There wasn't some big speech in my head. No dramatic, "I quit" fantasy. Just cold, methodical typing. Effective 2 weeks from today. My hands moved faster than my brain. The words poured out like they'd been waiting years to get loose. This wasn't just about the job. It was every dinner I sat through while Dale bragged about Zach's MBA classes. Every time he dismissed my ideas with, "Let's keep it simple, Kev." Every time I swallowed it to keep the peace. Screw the peace. I wasn't going to be the guy they patted on the head while they passed the crown to some empty suit. I hit save. Didn't send it. Not yet. But it was there. Waiting. So was I? I shut the laptop and just sat there, still gripping the beer bottle like it had answers. The hum of the fridge was the only sound in the kitchen. Lights were low, and everything felt too damn still. Belle had been saying this crap for years. Not about the job exactly, but about me. I could hear her voice like she was standing next to me, arms crossed, dead serious. "You let people walk over you, Kev. You always have." It wasn't yelling. That wasn't her style. It was sharper than yelling. Calm. Icy. Like she wasn't guessing, she knew. There was this dinner party a few months back. One of Dale's big outdoor spreads with the catered brisket and the too expensive wine nobody liked. Zach was holding court, talking about how he'd streamlined something at the dealership, some customer data thing he barely understood, and Dale wouldn't shut up about it. Zach's got that natural leadership spark, Dale said, grinning like a proud dad. Real CEO material. I was sitting 2 seats down, chewing potato salad like it was glass. Belle leaned in that night and whispered, "He's doing it again. And you're just letting him." "I'm being professional," I told her. "No, you're being a doormat," she snapped back. "And Olivia sees it, too." I didn't say anything after that, just stared down at my plate and let Dale ramble on about Zach's future. But she was right, and I knew it even then. I thought professionalism meant swallowing it, keeping the peace, not starting fights at family dinner. I figured if I stayed steady, people would see who really made things work. I thought results would speak for themselves. They didn't. Now here I was, sitting in my own damn kitchen like a guest in someone else's life, while the guy who streamlined my job was sitting in the chair I'd built from the ground up. I looked back at the hallway. Olivia's door cracked open, faint light still shining through. Probably up late finishing college prep or practicing debate. Girl had more fire than most adults I knew. She wanted to be a lawyer. Said it with her chest. No hesitation. And here I was, 30 years older, getting outplayed by the kid with a shiny resume and a last name that actually counted. What the hell was I showing her? That if you keep your head down long enough, someone else will rise up and take your spot? That staying quiet and loyal gets you replaced by a guy with better connections? I was teaching her that silence equals survival, not strength. And that thought sat heavier than anything Dale ever said. Because it's one thing to let a jackass like him write me off. It's another to show my daughter that's how a man's supposed to handle being disrespected, by nodding along and thanking them for the crumbs. I stood up, dumped the half-empty bottle in the sink, and wiped the sweat off my neck with my sleeve. Enough was enough. Next morning, I printed the letter, folded it once, clean and sharp, and slid it into an envelope like I was sealing a damn tomb. Dale's door was cracked open, like always. I didn't knock. He was on the phone, leaning back with a golf towel slung over his shoulder, laughing about tea times and swing adjustments. I walked in and dropped the envelope on his desk. He glanced down, still mid-sentence. "Hang on a sec, Frank." He set the phone down. "What's this?" "My resignation," I said. Flat. Nothing fancy. He opened it, skimmed the first lines, then looked up like I'd just punched him in the face. "You serious?" he said. "Is this a joke?" "Nope." "You're quitting?" His voice shot up. "Just like that? After everything I've done for you?" I stood there, still, while he shot out of his chair like his ass was on fire. "You're married to my daughter. You're walking away from the family business." "I'm not walking away from my family," I said. "I'm walking away from you." That shut him up for a second. His mouth opened, then closed. He didn't expect me to talk like that. Not to him. He grabbed the envelope again like he was going to find some loophole in the paper. "You got a job lined up?" "Huh. You think it's greener out there?" "I think it's a hell of a lot less rotten," I said. He narrowed his eyes, voice dipping lower. "What about Belinda? What about Olivia? You think this doesn't affect them?" There it was. The guilt card. Right on cue. "I'm doing this because of them," I said. "Because I want Olivia to see her dad stand up for himself, not beg for scraps. Because I'm not raising her to think silence is strength." Dale slammed the envelope on the desk. "You'll get no reference from me. You understand that?" "I won't need one." His face flushed, deep red, like a balloon ready to pop. "You're making a mistake," he barked. "No," I said, stepping back toward the door. "You made the mistake. When you picked him." He opened his mouth again, but I was already out. Didn't look back. Didn't wait for another word. Just walked past the showroom like it was any other day, except my spine was straighter and my fists weren't clenched anymore. Every step out of that building felt lighter. By the time I hit the parking lot, I was damn near floating. By the time I hit the parking lot, I already knew who I was calling first. I got in my truck, shut the door, and pulled up my contacts. Hit the name that had been sitting at the top of my just-in-case list for the past 2 years. Tyler Jacobs, Regional Director at Road Ridge Accessories. I'd met him at a trade conference in Denver, back when I still thought Dale might eventually hand me the keys. Tyler had pulled me aside after a panel and said, "If you ever want to run your own show, call me." So I did. "Kevin Miller," he said when he picked up. "I was wondering when I'd hear from you. You free to talk business?" He didn't hesitate. "You in or out at Miller Auto?" I just handed him my notice. "Then let's talk." I kept it quiet. Didn't even tell Belle right away. Just played it like a normal workday while the back channels lit up. Tyler scheduled a meeting for the following week with their VP of Ops, said they had a regional service strategy role they were holding for the right guy. That same night, I reached out to Carla Morris from Horizon Automotive Group. She was VP of Talent Acquisition. Smart, sharp as hell. She'd cold emailed me twice in the last year. Said they'd been tracking my numbers since I overhauled our fleet response model in 21. I sent a short message. Timing might finally be right. Can we talk? Next morning, my phone buzzed before I even had my first cup of coffee. She texted, "Heard you made a move. Let's set something up this week." By noon, I had 2 calls scheduled and 3 voicemails from people I hadn't heard from in months. It spread fast. Faster than I expected. I guess people were watching all along. That was the wild part. Outside the walls of Dale's little kingdom, I wasn't some execution guy. I was a closer, a systems guy, a numbers fixer. Nobody asked me what my title was. They remembered what I did. And I'd done a lot. I wasn't flashy, didn't brag. But when service got slow, I tightened turnaround time. When client retention dipped, I built out a follow-up plan that beat our region average by 12%. When the sales floor got lazy, I trained the rookies myself. I wasn't valued by title. I was valued by results. And now, results were calling back. Friday afternoon, I got the calendar invite. Zoom interview with the VP of Ops at Roadridge. Next Tuesday, 10 a.m. I marked it, closed the tab, and sat back in my chair. It felt good. Not cocky, not loud, but solid. Like I was finally driving my own car for once, not just riding shotgun while Dale and Zach played CEO. That weekend, I cleaned out the garage. Just something to keep my hands busy. Olivia helped. We didn't talk about work. We didn't need to. But when I found that old dealership-branded jacket I used to wear to company events, I didn't even think twice. Tossed it straight into the donation bin. I gave them my 2 weeks. Figured I'd leave clean. Wasn't for Dale. Wasn't for Zach. It was for the staff, the techs who stayed late without clocking overtime, the finance girls who fixed contract messes Zach didn't even know he caused. I owed them a clean exit. So I showed up. On time, same as always. Except this time, I kept my mouth shut unless someone asked. I wasn't steering the ship. I was handing over the keys. Problem was, Zach couldn't drive for shit. Day 2, he blew a bulk order for Metro Fleet. 25 trucks, all supposed to be pre-equipped with GPS and tool storage upgrades. Zach didn't confirm install. Didn't even flag it with service. Client showed up early Monday morning for pickup. None of the trucks were ready. Not one. The fleet manager near flipped the desk over. I found out when Vanessa from reception came sprinting into my office, red in the face. "Kev, they're about to walk. It's bad." I walked out there, fast but calm. The kind of calm you build after years of putting out fires lit by other people's stupidity. I stepped in, smoothed it over. "Give me 24 hours, I told the Metro guy. I'll make it right." He crossed his arms. "You're not even staying, right? I'm still here today. That's all that matters." I made the calls, pulled 3 techs off minor jobs, bought overtime meals out of my own pocket, promised the parts guys a full stockroom audit by end of week. Whatever it took. We got it done. Barely. But it was me, not Zach, who delivered that fleet the next day. After that, the whispers started. Tex pulled me aside in the break room. "You really leaving, Kev? I don't think he knows what he's doing. We're already seeing mistakes in payroll." Vanessa stopped me in the hallway. He asked me how to resend an invoice. Twice. Every day, a new little crack showed. And every night, like clockwork, an email from Dale. "Hope today went well. Talk tomorrow? Think we can chat before Friday? Just want to make sure transition stays smooth." He didn't say it outright, but I knew what he was doing. Trying to reel me back in with vague concern. Like if he played it soft enough, I'd forget everything he said in that office. Forget the way he handed my job to his blood and expected me to stick around to babysit. I didn't reply. Not once. But I saw him watching me. Every time I walked across the lot, every time I passed his office, he looked up. Like he thought I might change my mind. The truth was, part of me wanted to respond. Not to say yes. Just to unload. But I didn't. I'd already said what needed saying. Zach kept fumbling. Wrong Vince entered. A client gift mix-up that nearly offended a high-volume buyer. I corrected what I could. Showed him how to fix it himself when I couldn't. But I didn't save him from looking stupid. That was his job now. The last Friday rolled around fast. Too fast. I boxed up my things that afternoon. Didn't even fill the whole box. Just some notebooks, a mug, a half-used whiteboard marker I liked. I left the company tablet on the desk, wiped clean. As I walked out, Vanessa hugged me. She didn't say anything. Didn't have to. That place wasn't mine anymore. And I was fine with that. I was halfway to my truck with the box in my hands when Dale called my name from the office steps. "Kevin," he said, loud enough for the text to hear. "Got a minute?" I didn't answer right away. Just kept walking until I hit the front door, then turned around and looked at him. His tie was loose. Eyes tired. Voice forced. "Come on in." I followed him up the stairs, same stairs I'd climbed 1,000 times. Only this time I wasn't clocking in. I was walking into a pitch. His office smelled like cheap cologne and stress. He motioned for me to sit. I didn't. He stood behind his desk, cleared his throat, then said, "I've been thinking. This last couple weeks, what you did, keeping things afloat. I owe you for that." I waited. "So here's what I'm proposing. New position. Co-sales director. You and Zach, equals. You'd still handle ops. He'd focus on strategy. Pay bump. Extra vacation. Title on the door." He smiled like he just offered me a winning lottery ticket. "You serious?" I asked. "Dead serious. I made a mistake, Kev. Should have looped you in better. Should have made it more of a team thing." I stared at him for a second, then gave a short laugh. "You want me to babysit your unqualified nephew, and you think putting co in front of a title makes that not insulting?" He dropped the smile. "This isn't babysitting. It's leadership." "No," I said. "It's cleanup. And I'm not your janitor anymore." He stepped around the desk, arms crossed. "You're gonna walk away from this? From a legacy business? From your daughter's future?" There it was. Again. "You really think dangling Olivia's name in front of me is gonna work?" I said. "You think I don't know exactly what kind of future she's watching me build every time I let you run me over? Come on, Kev. Don't throw it away over pride." "This isn't pride," I snapped. "It's clarity. You showed me exactly where I stand the second you picked Zach. This isn't about ego, it's about respect. And I'm not staying where I'm only respected when the house is on fire." Dale's voice softened. "I need you. The team needs you." "Then maybe you should have acted like it before I quit." He looked down. "Like that one stung." I stepped back toward the door. "Kev," he said, voice almost a whisper now. "Don't do this. We can fix it." I opened the door, looked him in the eye. "You lost me the moment you picked him." And I walked out. No box, no handshake, no last glance. Just gone. I didn't slow down after I left Dale's office. Just kept walking, down the stairs, through the showroom, out into the sunlight, and never looked back. For weeks later, I was standing in a glass-walled office 15 stories above downtown Springfield, Missouri. The name on the wall said Logie Core Auto Group, and the title on my door said Head of Regional Service Ops. It felt good to start fresh. No family ties. No politics. Just the job. First order of business? I cleaned house, tightened up repair coordination across 5 sites, ditched the third-party scheduling software that was bleeding us dry, and built a new fleet response model that actually made sense. It wasn't about working harder. It was about making the right damn people listen. And here, they did. By the 6th month, customer retention was up 22%. Service ticket turnaround dropped from 4 days to 2. The regional VP shook my hand after every quarterly meeting like I was curing disease. Then one morning, while I was reviewing team schedules with our site leads on Zoom, my boss, Terry, walked in and dropped something on my desk. Old-school newspaper, folded in half. The headline was in bold. "Miller Automotive Group loses major clients after leadership shakeup." I leaned back in my chair, let the words settle. "Thought you'd want to look," Terry said, smirking as he walked out. I flipped through the story. Page 2 had the details. Metro Fleet pulled their contract, gone after 20 years. Greene County Transit followed. Then a handful of small business clients who'd been with us since Dale's first expansion. Zach had quietly resigned. Dale had been forced out by the board of partners. The article called it an internal leadership collapse following a high-profile departure. I wasn't named. Didn't need to be. But the quote at the end hit dead center. "You can't replace experience with entitlement and expect the customers not to notice." Source, anonymous. Probably someone from inside. Maybe Vanessa. Maybe one of the service leads. Didn't matter. What mattered was that the place that treated me like a second-string nobody just got wrecked by the same blind loyalty that built it. And now? Now I was leading actual teams. Working with people who understood that results weren't just numbers on a sheet, they were proof of value, of vision, of worth. I clipped the article and pinned it inside my cabinet. Not to gloat, just to remind myself what it looks like when people confuse family favoritism with leadership. Then I closed the drawer, opened my laptop, and kept going. Because I wasn't done yet. I was driving back from a site audit in Joplin when I stopped at this old roadside diner off Highway 44. I'd been there before. Cheap coffee, decent meatloaf, nothing fancy. I walked in, headed toward a corner booth, and froze. Zach. Sitting alone, back to the window. Same gelled-up hair, but less polished. His blazer was wrinkled, shirt collar undone. A half-eaten club sandwich sat on the table, next to a dog-eared textbook. Sales Management Basics. I almost turned around, but I didn't. I walked over and stood there for a second before he noticed. He looked up, and for once, he didn't grin. "Hey," he said, voice quieter than I remembered. I nodded. "Mind if I sit?" He motioned to the seat across from him. "Sure." We sat in silence for a minute. He looked tired. Older, somehow, like the shine had worn off. "You back in school?" I asked, nodding toward the book. He gave a half shrug. "Not school. Just catching up. I'm with Treadline Distributors now. Entry-level territory sales. Parts. Yeah. Bolt kits, fender flares, some fleet accessories. Starting from scratch." I didn't say anything. Just sipped my coffee when the waitress brought it. He looked down, picked at his sandwich. "You never owed me help," he said. "But you still helped. Even when I didn't deserve it." I nodded. "You weren't ready. I know that now." Another pause. A truck roared past outside. "I thought just having the job meant I could do it," he said. "Didn't know the weight till it was on me." "That's how most people learn," I said. "But not everyone gets to do it on someone else's back." He nodded. No defense. No excuses. I stood up to leave. He looked up again. "I'm trying to do it right this time." I reached for my jacket. "Stick with it. And next time someone offers you a job you're not ready for." I paused. "Say no." He gave a small, tired laugh. "Yeah." I left a 10 on the table and walked out. Sun was high. Air was clean. And for the first time in years, my chest didn't feel heavy. I wasn't angry. I wasn't bitter. I was done. What would you have done if you were in Kevin's shoes? Walked away or stayed for the fight? Drop your answer in the comments. And if you liked the story, hit that subscribe button.